For those who aren't familiar, what is his philosophy and perhaps what are his targets for this season then?
Well, interestingly, him and his backroom team have done a lot of work on teams that have got promoted from the Championship to the Premier League. And what they found out is that those sides that adapt to the top flight, perhaps change and tweak and become a little bit more defensive, have often gone straight back down. The teams that have stuck to their principles, stuck to what they did well to get them promoted in the first place, are the ones that have had the most success. And that's what Steve Cooper's done. You saw it at the weekend against West Ham. The two full-backs, they want to get forward. They play three at the back, they can play four at the back as well, but the wing-backs get forward. They use the whole width of the pitch. They create space. They work hard. They play into the front man. They've got two good wingers, Jesse Lingard, Brennan Johnson on either side of Taiwo Awoniyi, down the middle. And what they're doing is they're just making it more difficult for West Ham to cover the distances because they've made the pitch so big. They're not compact, they're not tight, they're not five at the back. They want to get onto the white lines. They want to stretch that game, and that's a big part of his philosophy. He wants to play that same attacking, expansive football that got them promoted from the Championship, and he wants to do exactly the same in the Premier League. The other thing that I just want to mention is Steve Cooper's culture around the football club. He's been brilliant at creating a buzz around the place and an energy and a positivity, and that feeds from the manager into that group of players.
Yeah. So that's why he's so impressive, is it? Because we've had a lot of managers come in and this is the next best thing. But does he feel like the real deal?
Absolutely. And every time you speak to the Nottingham Forest players, they've got nothing but good things to say about him and the positive environment. The Nottingham Forest training ground is not a big training ground. There's nowhere to hide. And one of the key things that he's adopted throughout the course of this season has been togetherness. He wants a really good spirit within that club. He wants everyone to be friendly with each other. There's no divisions. The only language spoken in the dressing room is English, despite all of the different cultures and nationalities that they have. That's a big factor for him. Off the back of their pre-season tour this summer, the captain, Joe Worrell, had a barbecue. And every single player throughout the course of this season has to host an event where the whole team is invited. So what he's doing there is he's creating a togetherness. He's creating a culture. And he wants those players to all be friends on and off the pitch. And that's really important for him. So it's a place where you can be free, you can be yourself, you can enjoy your football, you can play your best football. And that's all set by his high standards. And that's something that's key for him. And you're seeing that come out on the pitch. And you'll see that throughout the course of this season in the Premier League. I think you'll see a really together unit. Under tough times, defensively, they'll be resolute and together and they'll work hard. But they'll enjoy their football when they're going forward. And I think that's really key. He's done a lot of team building, a lot of team bonding, and that's something that's a big part of his philosophy, is that togetherness. Well,
he had to, because their transfer activity has been, what's the right word, impressive, expansive? What is it?
I think the big thing about Nottingham Forest, they are the movers and shakers in this transfer window. They have absolutely signed so many players. Let's take a look at this map of Europe as to where their recruitment has taken them. You can see, obviously, they've brought players in from the EFL, O'Brien and Toffolo from Huddersfield, who have been brilliant in the early stages of this season, players that know the Championship as well, so they're sensible signings. If there was any problems with Forest going back down, they've got players there that know the second tier of English football. You look at the likes of Jesse Lingard from the big stage at Manchester United, Dean Henderson, again, touted to be an England #1, touted to be Manchester United's #1. Incredible to get him in. Both those players will bring a wealth of experience. And, of course, you can see a number of faces that have come over from the Bundesliga as well. That's been a big area that they've targeted throughout the course of this summer, where they feel the Bundesliga is the most similar league to the Premier League. So the adaptation from the Bundesliga to the Premier League isn't going to be as big as some of those other European leagues. And hence why they've used that league. They broke their transfer record with Taiwo Awoniyi, who has come in from Union Berlin, and he's had a big impact by scoring that goal against West Ham at the weekend. So that shows that they've cast their net far and wide to try and give Steve Cooper the tools to operate in the Premier League. One other thing I'll just mention, Rob, as well. They lost a whole chunk of players from that side that got promoted last season, so they needed to replace them. There were 8 players in that squad at Wembley in the Championship playoff final that are no longer at the football club. So immediately you had to replace those 8 players, then sign players that you thought were good enough for the Premier League. 9 subs, nine players on the bench, 5 subs, You're going to need all the options possible, hence why they've been one of the busiest sides in the transfer market.
So what I'm hearing from you, normally for a promoted side, 17th in the Premier League is considered a success, isn't it? A Forest actually, though, looking higher.
I think if you spoke to Steve Cooper, he'd say 17th, I'll take it all day long. I think that the remit, as far as he's concerned and the football club is concerned, stay in the Premier League. They're not getting above their station. They're not thinking about the top 10. They're not thinking about, having a fantastic season by challenging European football spots. They just want to consolidate. Of course, he's hoping that this team he's building over the course of the summer is going to gel, stay together, and he can take it to the next level. But I think if you speak to any Nottingham Forest fan, the only thing they want, 17th or better, and will be immensely happy, because you've seen so many sides come up and go straight back down, and with the money they've invested and the money they've spent, if they were to come back down, that could be a big problem for the football club. So stability is key, and it all centres around keeping this man and backing him right till May.